Let's talk about Scripture, because apparently about 1,000 people were asked their opinion in Queensland about whether or not Scripture still has a place inside public schools, and a significant number said no. I don't know who's behind the study, but here, have a look at this. According to the Courier Mail, survey of 1,000 Queenslanders revealed 87% believe children who don't study religious education should be allowed to continue learning instead of reading or completing homework. Christy, how do you feel about, all right, fine, if there is Scripture classes in school, should they be happening outside of school hours? And what should happen if you've got kids who aren't part of this education process? Is it, in high school a period where you go out and play touch footy, or is there something a little more productive we can do for those that aren't part of those lessons?
Well, Paul, my view on teaching religion in schools is that it's up to parents to choose how their children are educated on these matters, just as it's up to parents to choose what to tell their children about transgendered children and certain rights and certain ideologies that are occurring in our schools at the moment. It is up to parents to teach those issues under the large bundle of religion. But another point that's being raised regularly is that schools don't teach ethics anymore. And I think if we ask the question of should we replace Scripture-based learning with perhaps ethics-based learning, we would get a different answer. But I think overwhelmingly, parents very much feel it is up to them on how they educate their children in a number of issues, not up to schools.
Yeah, Gideon, how do you feel about it? And look, not the issue about Scripture in schools, but for those that aren't doing it, should they be doing something more productive than their homework? Should normal school be rolling on for them?
Look, I don't know. I don't think it's much of a muchness, to be honest. I mean, what's the difference between being in an active lesson and studying and revising what you've done, or private reading? I think those things have their value and their utility as well. But, Paul, to me, we've talked about these kind of surveys. I think an identical one, in fact, in New South Wales about a year ago on this program before. These are just the usual crop of militant atheists trying to pick apart religious instruction in schools. And even if you aren't a particularly religious person, and I count myself in that category, there's still value in religion in terms of the cultural references, in terms of the origins of the human rights and freedoms that we hold dear. And lessons like love thy neighbour, turn the other cheek, do unto others, these things still have value. So, the fact of the matter is I went to a faith-based school where I got a very good religious education, and though I'm not necessarily practising it, it still benefits me. I do feel for kids at public schools who may miss out on it.